Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog. So let's get to it. I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all. All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole her truck. It was like you could hear it all throughout the store. This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book 4, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? Guys, first story up. So we saw that Brett Favre, I always have a hard time saying his name. We saw that he was talking at a congressional hearing the other day, where we found out that he had Parkinson's disease, which is a degenerative disease that affects, I believe, your neurological system, your nervous system, and all of these things. Okay, it is a degenerative disease. There's no cure for it. And that, you know, he eventually will die from that, most likely. Not saying that the man is about to die now, I'm just telling you. So anyway, I guess he thought that maybe telling us this at the congressional hearing was going to make people feel sorry for him. I was just like, no, I mean, I'm sorry you sick and all. I know some people that have Parkinson's disease, and I know it is a painful disease and, you know, all of that. However, I don't know what that got to do with the fact that you stole all this fucking money from the Mississippi people. Okay? That is not going to make us feel any more sorry for you when you, as a former NFL player who played in the NFL for 20-something years, 20 years span, so roughly from 1990 to 2010, very successful football career from what you guys tell me, because I don't know shit about football. I definitely know his name. You made all this money, yet and still you stealing from people who needed this money. This is money that had been earmarked for welfare funds, temporary assistance for needy families, millions and millions of dollars that so let me just say, Brett Favre, the reason why this man has not been charged is because he's not in charge of any money. Okay, he is just a figure, a very persuasive figure, obviously, but he is just a figure, a person that approached people who do have access to this money. He approached them and asked them for money to fund for a building that he wanted at his child's university. The University of Southern Mississippi, or University of South Mississippi, whatever the name of it is, you guys. This is where his child was going to school, I believe, and she was a volleyball player, and he wanted the volleyball facilities to be upgraded and to look nice. And so he reached out to the people that were in charge of the money for the state and was just like, hey, how can we get this money to get to this building so that we can get this building built, and it could be state-of-the-art facility and, all of that. And so the people that are in charge of that money was like, oh, well, we got this millions of dollars. Okay, I don't know what the figure was. I want to say 77 million. Yeah, stole over 77 million. We got some of this money, and we going to give that to you, even though it was supposed to go to the TANF funded program. We gonna give you that money. You going and build the building and everything, and we ain't gonna say nothing else about it. Okay, so that is what happened, and as a result, all those people that needed that assistance, well, they did not get it. He actually has a lawsuit against him where they're trying to, the Department of Human Services out in Mississippi is trying to get that money back, as well as interest, which is to the tune of somewhere around almost $1 million, $730,000. So they're trying to get that money that was stolen from their program back from that. Okay, so I think that's a separate lawsuit. But that is what he did. That's why he's speaking at this congressional hearing, I guess, because people wanted to know, like, why is it exactly that you thought that shit was okay? We also found out that he asked for money by a medical startup called Prevacid. I feel like I've heard that name Prevacid before. I feel like that's one of the commercials for medication that we always hear about. He did reach out again and he asked the government agency, you know, if they could give him the money, and they basically said, okay. So he also took money that was supposed to be set for somewhere else, and they gave it towards the startup, the biomedical startup. So the people that gave the money, they've been charged with things. Brett has been able to escape it thus far because, you know, well, you can ask anybody for some money. I mean, I'm assuming that this is what it is. You can ask anybody for some money. They ought to be the ones to say, no, I can't give you this money, you know. So he didn't really do anything illegal. I think that what he did, because he didn't suggest, hey, give me the money from the welfare. I think he was just like, can you find some money and give it to me and let them handle all the legalities of it. And that's what they did. Now, the only thing that Brett is being held to the fire about is the fact that he did some speaking engagements promoting this building and, you know, funding for this building, or funding for this facility, and funding for this startup or whatever. And for that, he has had to pay back. So he had to pay $1.1 million back of speaking funds. But this man made $140 million in his 20-year career as an NFL player. Like, you couldn't just pay for your damn daughter's building, you know, and they put your fucking name on it. They probably was going to put his name on it anyway. And it wasn't even his money, you know. Like, this wasn't a contribution. This wasn't a donation from Brett. So, yeah, while we sorry you sick and shit, like, you know, that ain't really gonna change the minds of the Mississippi people. You know, Mississippi, like many other states, have areas of people that need this money, and you stole it. Bottom line, y'all stole the money, okay? And he is lucky so far that he has not had to go to jail. But I think that that's probably the reason why, because he ain't got the money to steal to begin with. That it had to be, you know, the other people were the ones that had control of the money, and they're the ones that did it. So, but we're going to have a continued side eye for Brett, because, nigga, you knew what the fuck you was doing. You just lucky. You just lucky. Y'all feel sorry for him that he had to, y'all think that Parkinson's disease made him steal the money? Because is that what he was trying to tell us by letting us know? You could have saved that. You could have saved that for an interview that you was going to have later on down the line. But yeah, you guys, that's what's going on with Brett. Mississippi Roxstars, how y'all feel about it? All right, you guys, G Herbo. Now, I said a long time ago that I felt like G Herbo was a scammer, and some of you guys were like, no, Roxanne, he's a good guy, blah, 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 blue. And I just was just sort of like, I mean, this nigga was out here trying to look better for that, his baby mom. What's her name? Tatiana, whatever her name is. Like, I felt like he was a Chicago dude who, you know, was on the rise as a rapper and everything, but still didn't have it like that. Like, not the type of money that this girl and her family was used to, you know, being Fabulous and Emily B's, Emily B's daughter, but, you know, a stepchild of Fabulous and all of the shit that was going on there. So I guess he was trying to impress her, and so he was doing all of this illegal shit so it could look like, you know, he was one of them niggas that really had it like that. That's the impression that I got of him, but you guys was telling me that that was not right. So anyway, I thought the boy was supposed to be gone to jail a long time ago. He still ain't went to jail. And then we just found out recently that he won't get any jail time, that he was just going to do some on probation and community service and all of this shit. They felt like he got like a 5-year sentence or something like that. Bitch, it is hot. It's starting to get hot in here. Whew, hold on, y'all. Let a nigga just... Anyway, he was facing 20 years in prison, you guys. And the law firm that he had hired to represent him, which was called Prince Lobel Ty Law Firm, they worked their magic and, like I said, got the boy off and didn't have to do no jail time, just probation and maybe some restitution and all of that. Now, Prince Lobel Ty Law Firm I be fucking up them names, don't I? Now they're saying that he owes them money, that he stopped paying the payments to the firm. I was like, well, let me guess when he realized that he wasn't going to jail no more. Okay. They said that back December 29, 2023 was the last time that he made payments. And since then, he ain't made no payments to them, and that he owes them $237,582.67. I was like, well, imagine that. The presumed scammer has scammed the damn law firm. It was sort of like, well, you know what? Listen, y'all was defending this man knowing good damn well that this nigga was doing some fraudulent shit, but you did your job, and now look. At the end of the day, it is G Herbo. Like, you should be paying these people. It seems like you would do better by making sure that you have a team that was able to keep you out of jail. You know, you would want to stay in good graces with them, because as a fucking rapper out today, you probably gonna be in trouble again soon. All right, pay these people. Do we have $237,000? Now that I don't know. Okay, but they seem like these are the wrong people that you want to, that you want to be on the bad side of. And now you might be facing a new lawsuit by the damn law firm that represented you to keep you out of jail, so that you get, let's try to do better, G Herbo. Let's try to do better. They say that they also want 1.2% interest on every month that he has not paid. Now, I don't know what the actual bill is. I guess I could have, if I would have had my iPad today, I would have calculated up the numbers for you, because 237,000 divided by, what is this, the 9th month? So we almost at 10 months. So basically 23,000. He's supposed to been paying around $23,000 a month. They ain't been getting paid and shit, plus the 1.2% interest. So put another 1% will be around 2,000. Is that right? No. 1% of 20,000 is 200, right? 200. Yeah. I think 1% of 20,000 is $200. So they want to also put the 1.2% interest on the end of each month. G Herbo, pay these people they fucking money, because you're going to need them probably again in the future. All right, you guys, next story is actually a very unfortunate and sad story. I was not aware of this story until it got down to the wire. Marcellus Williams, who was recently put to death, actually was just put to death yesterday. This was in, Missouri. This was in Missouri. So back in 2001, I'm going to tell you guys a story because I was not familiar. But back in 2001, Marcellus Williams was convicted of murder of Felicia Gale. She was a journalist, an American journalist who was killed in the gated community where she lived. She was being robbed, and the robbery went bad, and whoever killed her ended up taking a butcher knife from her own kitchen and stabbing her 43 times. Okay. And so Marcellus Williams was the suspect that was suspected in her death, because they said that there were witnesses at the trial that said that he was selling off a lot of her things that were stolen in this robbery from the house, a computer and other things. And then at the time they were saying that in his possession, I'm not sure if it was in his car or his home or whatever, but they were saying in his possession, he also had some of the other things that had been stolen from her home. He had possession of it. So that was how they tied the evidence to Marcellus Williams. And, when it went to court, the jury ended up finding him guilty, and they sentenced him to death. Now, his team ended up appealing that. And they said that there were claims of errors in evidentiary rulings, errors in jury instructions, and errors in victim impact testimony. Also, DNA evidence proved his innocence. Okay, this is what they said in their appeal, because, you know, we maybe at one time the DNA evidence wasn't showing something. I think they're saying that a lot of the evidence ended up being hidden away or not presented properly or whatever it was that happened with the evidence. They're saying that, yeah, DNA, basically bottom line, DNA found that he couldn't have been the killer. There were so many questions about it that finally the family even said that they did not want him to be put to death. The family of Felicia Gale, okay, that they did not want him to be put to death. So there were many people that were advocating for at least him to be removed from the death row. But Missouri government, they were continuing and holding him in like, no, he is going to be being put to death. So they tried to do a stay of execution, which is like a last minute push to keep him from being executed. And you know, that's when the petitions go around. People are really trying to speak out for him and talk to the appeals board and I guess whoever else it is that makes these final decisions to spare his life. It goes all the way on to the governor of Missouri. Oh, I'm sorry, I did not get his name either. I'll put his name I'll put the governor's name on the screen there. But the governor, as far as I believe, as far as I know, the governor is the one who makes the final decision, whether or not they are going to do a stay of execution or if they're going to push forward with the death penalty and, you know, that he will be ultimately put to death. And that is what the governor ended up choosing, was to go forward with the death penalty. And he was put to death yesterday. Okay. And so many people were so upset about it because he maintained his innocence all throughout the whole time. This is the only issue, not the only, but this is an issue with the death penalty. When, you know, I've always told you guys that I am for the death penalty and an eye for an eye kind of thing, but I also will say that when DNA evidence has proven that a person did not kill somebody, you know, then I think that should definitely be taken into consideration. You know, it's one thing when we know that this person killed somebody else, we know that it's just cut and dry, that's what it is. But when DNA evidence gives evidence that something else happened, or at least says that he did not do it, then of course I would not want that person to be killed. Okay. I know a lot of people will argue, see, Roxanne, that's the problem with the death penalty, though, is that there are always going to be instances where people are unfairly killed, like they unrightfully killed, you know. And so yeah, I do realize that there are some flaws with the death penalty, and so I understand why there's an argument that the death penalty should not even happen because of those situations, those times when people are innocently accused. Yeah, very, very sad, though. You know, he looks like I don't know if he was Muslim before he went to jail, but he seems to now be, you know, during his time that he has been in jail, he became a Muslim. And so, you know, when they asked him what his final words were, you know, he just gave it all to Allah and said, you know, it's Allah in all things at the end of the day, me paraphrasing, but and he seemed to, they say that he met with his imam, is that how you say it? Imam, and that, you know, that he was at peace because he knew that he did not do it. Very, very sad, though, and a lot of people are upset with the governor there, and they're saying that he had like a prior criminal history and all. I mean, it's one thing to be a criminal, you know, you breaking and entering kind of thing, you know, maybe steal a car here and there. It's another thing to call somebody a murderer, and a brutal murderer. I mean, 43 times, you know, like that sounds like a passionate or like a drug-fueled type of rage where they kill somebody. So, you know, them saying that he is that type of person, when you're not, you know, you can't just assume that people that are criminals are still murderers. You know what I'm saying? So, very, very sad. What do you guys think about it? Do you know more about the case? Because I didn't know about this case, so I'm just reporting to you guys what I read. But From what I can tell, not everybody, but a good amount of people was very much against, including the victim's family. Let me make sure that you remember that. Were upset that he was executed yesterday. You guys let me know what you think about all that. All right, you guys, next story. So yesterday also we had one of those days where Cardi B and Offset was going through their drama. And I'm just going to tell you guys before we even talk about it that I'm about sick of fucking Offset and Cardi B. I'm just tired. I'm just really over it because we've been knowing for years and years and years that Offset has been a cheater. Okay, pretty much since these two have been together. I mean, Cardi caught a case behind Offset. Like this is what it has been. Although I love to see that when their family is together and, and it seems like that when they're on good terms, things are good. But when the shit is bad, it's just really, really bad. And we tired. We tired. Okay, because girl, you've been knowing that this man has been a cheater and you've tried to stay there with him, and hats off to you for trying to make your marriage work. All right. But after the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th time, and maybe even more than that, because child, we don't always probably know, although I'll take that back. We probably always know when they having problems. Okay. Because they going to bring that shit to social media. And it's just sort of like, why we got to be in this shit? So Offset says on social media that Cardi B ended up having sex with somebody while she was pregnant with his child. Okay. And I guess he thought he was blasting Cardi B, but Cardi B has gotten to that point where she don't give a fuck no more. And she's just sort of like, and did. I don't know why that shit is funny to me, but that shit is funny to me because it's just sort of like she said, like, nigga, you be out there doing it and laying it low and spreading it wide with any fucking woman that decides to do it with you. Yet and still, when it turns around and it's my turn to do the same things that you've been doing consistently throughout this entire relationship, now you got a problem with it. Okay, so I guess he thought that he was going to be spilling her tea, and she was just like, nigga, I will spill my own fucking tea. Yes, I did fuck somebody else while I was pregnant, and what you got to say about it? Go on about your damn business. But my whole thing is Cardi, and I say this with love, because, I really do like Cardi B. But I'm just like, girl, if you just gonna do it, then just do it. Why are you even giving him your energy? Let him say whatever the hell he want to say, because you know what? You seem to be happy and moving on. Go on about your business. What's gonna really kill him is when he see you officially with this new nigga. Okay, whoever this new guy might be. When you guys officially come out and say that this is what it is, even though it's probably not gonna be the one that she fucked, because usually that's the rebound, and you never really get with the rebound. Okay. But when Offset is going to be sick when he realizes that there's somebody else raising his family, helping, not saying that he won't be involved, because he's definitely an involved father, but it's going to be different when she hooks up with somebody else and there's another man in the family. Offset strikes me as the type that likes to be around his kids. He just can't seem to work that shit out with his wife. Okay. So that's going to make him the sickest. All right. And at the end of the day, you guys, I really wish they would just get off of social media. Nobody needs to know these things. Your kids are going to be grown one day, and all this shit is going to be on social media for them to see. Okay. The oldest kid is old enough to kind of know, she's old enough to understand at least what's going on with her mother and father. Not deeply understand, but she got it. I'm sure she got it under. If she hears about this, she's going to understand that her father fucked around with another woman and that upset her mother and all that. Like, you don't want this kind of shit to be out there. And now, she going to also know that my mama fucked this other guy while she was pregnant with the damn sister. And, it's just like, girl, we can't. Okay. And then with all this fussing and shit you guys doing, don't you turn your ass around and get right back with Offset. Do not do that. Okay? We thought that you sat around and had a talk with yourself and was like, self, okay, I'm pregnant. I'm going to make this announcement. I'm going to tell everybody I'm moving on. I'm happy with my life. Offset always going to be around. He's the father of my kids and everything, but we can't make this marriage work. And I felt like she was at that point like, I'm happy. I'm moving on. No ill feelings. Offset is still a great guy, a great father. He just a horrible fucking husband. Okay, that's what we thought you was gonna be. So I want you to stay like that, because we can't take the going back and forth, okay, every 18 business days. All right, because these two, they just, child, we over it. We is over it. Girl, go raise your kids. Let him take them kids on the weekend and go get your groove on the weekends that they gone with this new nigga and get out our goddamn face. Okay? All right. Next story. Who's the guy? Y'all think y'all know? I would really wonder who would be the guy to do it. Okay? Because, you know, even though women do that shit easily, sometimes it feels like guys might step a little gingerly, like, oh, you Offset girl, you know, I don't know, I don't feel like it, but, you know, women will do that shit easily. So I'm just like, who is the guy that actually had the guts, to be like, to step to Cardi and get her ass in a bed? Okay, that's what I want to know. That's the part of the story that I need to know. But other than that, y'all gone with this shit. Handle that shit at the house. Lastly, you guys, what I peeped. This is the Diddy edition. I know, you guys. I said I wasn't going to be talking about Diddy that much, but he's just everywhere, you guys. I did peep that Diddy's lawyer is downplaying the bottles of oil. Okay, saying that he has question about the 1,000, like who sat and counted. I said, nigga, we ain't got to count the damn bottles. All we got to do is see a case of fucking baby oil, and on the case, it'll say inside this case is 100 damn baby oils. And if you got 10 of them, that's how we know it's fucking 1,000. Stop stop being obtuse and trying to say, like, oh, I don't know why you would need 1,000 bottles. Nigga, you making it worse for yourself. I know why you would need 1,000 bottles if you having all these big ass freak offs that everybody is talking about. So you need to stop it. He's probably making the shit worse for Puffy. I also peeped that the lawyer said that Puffy might be taking the stand in his own defense. I said, child, don't you do that. Now, I know you just talking, because I know as a regular person that Puffy don't need his ass nowhere on that stand, because the other side, the prosecution, will tear his ass apart. They probably are praying that you put that man on that stand. I don't know what Puffy could say to make himself look better being up there. He better keep his fucking mouth shut. I also peeped that the kids put out a statement saying that there was no book that Kim Porter was writing, that all of this talk, you know, even if it comes from somebody who says that they're a former friend, that person couldn't be a friend if they're lying on their mother, to let this woman rest in peace, that she did die, you know, with no strange causes, and that let her rest in peace over there. And while I do have sympathy for the kids, I do. Okay, I feel that it's unfortunate that those kids have been caught up in the middle of their daddy shit, and so now, you know, we gonna look, first of all, Christian look just like Puffy, so he gonna have a hard time, because everybody is always gonna associate him with the shit that Puffy did, even if the boy turns out to be innocent. But you know, he got his own own problems too. Okay, but I do feel the sorriest for them girls, you know, the twins, and even this baby. Like, it's different because there's violence on women, and you got 3 daughters that you are trying to raise, and they got to look at their father as a certain kind of monster, you know. So it's hard probably for these kids to figure out, like, you know, this is my dad, that he's only been a certain way to me for my whole life. Like, for them to realize that their dad might have these other sides, even though them older kids, I don't know, it feels like them boys might have had some idea how their dad was. Okay, I did peep that Al B. Sure said that Quincy in particular has Stockholm's disease, Stockholm syndrome, and you know, Stockholm is when you've been brainwashed so much that you actually believe the lie. So he's saying, you know, you guys need to pray for his son Quincy, who was raised by Puffy and calls Puffy his father as well. Because, you know, he's in the grips of Puffy. I wonder who put that statement out. Whose idea was it? Did the kids really want to put that out, or is this still the workings of Puffy over there? We know that those kids, the girls, are being raised by a friend of Kim Porter's. I thought that I thought that Kimora had them, but they said that they were living with a friend of Kim Porter's now, so I don't know who that person is. But yeah, I do feel the baddest for the kids. And then lastly, you guys, I did peep that they're saying that Puffy is not eating while he is in jail, okay? And that there may be some concern on Puffy's end that someone might poison his food and that he would end up like Jeffrey Epstein, all right? Because there's still a lot of question on whether or not Jeffrey Epstein killed himself, suicide, or if he was taken out. The majority of people believe that he was taken out because he had so much information on very, very powerful people. And if we just cut the head off the snake, then we ain't got to deal with nothing else, okay? And Puffy might be in line to suffer that same kind of fate. So Puffy has decided that he ain't fucking with the food. I was like, the nigga gonna get hungry one day. He gonna eat that food eventually. But yeah, still, again, I'm just like, Puffy in jail like this, child. I never thought it would have happened. I just hate that he got himself caught up in all of this shit. And it's still gonna be more, y'all. So I'm sure I'll have more things to talk about in the future. Let me get off here. All right, you guys, that is it. I'm going to get on off of here. We do this every single week. So make sure you thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, rock stars.